All right, just hit that live button. I'm so excited about today's show. I'm so excited about our guest today. If you're just now signing in, let us know where you're signing in from, what city, what state, what country. We're just glad you're here. And this is all about a story of growth. And growth doesn't go up in a linear fashion in business. You got your ups and downs. You have to go through some things, and we have someone who can tell us about that. So if you're on that journey, you're going to get some great encouragement today with my guest. I have the president of the acute care division of Mednax, and of course we're going to talk about that. That's a cool new thing. But welcome to the show, Miss Zawadi Bryant.
Thank you, Rollis. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, this is great. I've been looking forward to this because it's we've known you for so many years as Nightlight Pediatric Urgent Care, and I know that name is going to continue to be there as time goes on. But I'd love to hear. I know my audience would love to hear about the genesis of what happened from the very, very humble beginnings. In fact, let me put this up on the screen. This is really cool. I'm going to show a little bit of an older picture here. Back down memory lane. The bottom left hand corner is from around 2007. Is that right, Zawadi?
Yes, our first year. Yes.
Yeah. And then, of course, a little bit more recent of a picture is the bigger picture that you can see. But yeah, really, really just excited about the news. First of all, let's talk about the news, and then we're going to kind of go back to just a little bit earlier in the story and kind of go from there.
Yeah, absolutely. So we are just so excited and lots of energy around our current company, which is Mednax um, National Medical Group. It's a nationwide company that focuses on women and children's healthcare. And we were recently acquired by them in March. And so we're still going through the integration process, but we are now part of a family full of amazing clinicians and support team that I mean, we were just on a call today. I mean, the people that are in this company are brilliant and focus on and have a heart for women's and children's healthcare. So we fit right in, which is a perfect match because we all care about great care, quality care for the patient. And just a lot of the values and culture are very similar. And so we feel right at home.
Love that. Okay, I just want to check in with the audience, and I think that they're just as happy as we are about what's happened with you guys. Yeah, absolutely.
Thank
So
you, thank you, thank
yeah,
you, thank
you
you.
guys deserve that. Now, one of the things that you guys have done, and a lot of business owners, they look forward to this day. One day, when you start a business, obviously you're there to create an income, and you want to do well, you want to provide great value, and that sort of thing. But eventually, there's somewhat of an exit strategy. It could be through selling, it could be through getting bought out, it could be passing on the business to someone. So tell me about your story. Did you originally envision this when you and Dr. Gentles and Connie got together with this idea? Was that kind of your end goal? Tell me about that.
No, it wasn't. We've told you this story several times, but I'll tell it for the audience sake is that we all met through church, and Dr. Jennels and I went to church together, and she was working in a children's emergency room, and her vision was to provide quality care in the evenings for children so that they didn't have to wait in the emergency room for hours for a common cold, flu, fever, earache. If someone needed stitches or an X-ray, there's definitely no reason for them to be in an emergency room. It wasn't life-threatening. And so she talked to me about her idea, and I thought it was a great idea. And she said, "Great, then you can help me put it together." So, I mean, it really was, it was designing a solution to a problem. And that's how we started. It wasn't, hey, let's make some money and grow this thing and sell it. I mean, I think both of us were naive. Like, that wasn't at all the objective. It was really like, wow, these kids are in the emergency room for how long and they spend how much money? Yeah, no, there has to be a better way of doing this. And so that's how it started. One little location in Sugarland, four exam rooms, Modest beginnings, basically all hands on deck. She worked during the day, I worked during the day. We came to night at night for about a year and a half. We did that before we both were comfortable enough to work in the business independent without working a primary job. And we grew in 2 years to a second location, and then we said, we think we have something here. And so that's really how it started. And it wasn't until we started getting educated on how to run a business that the whole conversation about an exit strategy came to being. And that was like 5 or 6 years after we first started. So it was just after learning and talking to other business owners that even became an idea.
Right, exactly. So those who are chiming in, let us know where you're chiming in from. I already see quite a few that have responded. So let us know where you are in your journey. Are you just now starting a business? Perhaps if it's in healthcare, let us know. What's your end goal? What's your future goals? One of the things I wanted to ask you too, Zawadi, in terms of the dynamics, you brought something to the table that she noticed. Tell me a little bit about your background before you started with Nightlight, because I think that also adds to the
Mm.
story as well.
Yeah, so I went to school for engineering, and then I also received a MBA focused on operations. So I thought I was going to work the ranks up of corporate America as an engineer, then pivot to operations and management. And I started my career working at Hewlett Packard as a manufacturing engineer, and then I got into software because I implemented like a SAP type software for our manufacturing, and I loved that. And then I changed from doing manufacturing engineering to software development and software sales, and that brought me to BP. So I went from HP to BP. So very large organizations, and I became a project manager. So I have a operations project management background, no healthcare in my background whatsoever.
Right,
So I
right.
was good at systems and processes.
So you went from HP to BP to NP.
Yes, yeah, there you go. I like the peas.
That's like one of your requirements. It has to have a P in the name somewhere.
Yes.
No, but I think that the reason I wanted to mention that is because, and I've talked with Dr. Jennings before, and, she didn't really want to spend too much time on the business side. She wanted to focus on the
Hmm.
medicine. And you brought that kind of that business operation side to it. So it just seemed like a great match. I saw how she was strategic in bringing you in. That was cool.
Yeah, and I think, a lot of people ask us about partnerships. Some are good, some are not so good. And it is like a marriage, but I think, with if you complement each other, it makes it easier. Like
Yes.
I'm not a clinician, so I had to learn the healthcare and medical side. She didn't do business, and so she had to learn all the metrics and processes and the financials and all of that. We were both willing to learn the other just so we could, understand the business in totality, but we respected each other's space. And so I think that's kind of the winning formula for any partnership. A lot of times I see partnerships that don't work. It's like they both are doing the same thing.
Yes.
And for us, I always defer to her for the medical side. I'm like, yeah, I don't know that. So I'll let you decide on how we treat patients. But over here, like as far as running the numbers and customer service and the human resources and IT and all of that, she's like, okay, I'll let you have that.
Yeah, no, it's worked out great. So Yamini, he says hello from Saudi Arabia. So we have someone from
Oh
Saudi
wow.
Arabia, Joanne's from the Philippines, and then we have Sabrina Abdel. She says, I'm trying to become a world leader. That's my end goal. It's been a long road, but I've always been on the
Mm,
right path. Thank you for asking. She's coming in from Ontario, Canada. So welcome. She says, this is a great shared communication. Great job, team. So thank you. Thank you for being here,
thank you.
Sabrina.
Definitely welcome.
Okay, I have a question for you. I'm asking some fun questions along with the business
Okay.
questions. Is that okay?
Okay.
All right.
Perfect.
Are you willing to share What is your biggest cooking mishap? I got one too. If you got one, do you have one for that?
Oh, a cooking mishap.
And those in the comments. Tell me what your biggest cooking mishap was. We usually find a way to also translate this into our discussion too. So we'll see if you can do that.
Yeah, no, I don't know. I'm a really good cook.
Oh wow! Look,
So
okay. See, I learned something new about you. See, you're a really good cook. What's your favorite thing to cook?
I am. I love like lasagna.
Ooh, I love
I
lasagna
make
too.
a killer lasagna and I try different things. I'm, moving away from meats. So it's now a challenge like substituting things that are flavorful that you don't miss the meat. So I do
Mm.
like a mean portobello spinach
Oh wow.
lasagna now. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
So now I'm playing around with different noodles, that are less, um, have less gelatinous in it, just less, more healthy. So experimenting with my lasagna. So,
Oh yeah, that
stay
sounds
tuned.
good. Yeah, my wife, she's more open to the meatless stuff than I am. I'm on my journey. I'm not there yet. Uh, I respect it though. I respect it for sure.
Yes. Yeah. I always have to have like a other dish for my husband. So I understand.
There was another day. The other day, she's fixed some spaghetti for me, and it had cassava noodles. I think is what it was.
Yeah. Yeah. There's all kinds of alternatives.
Yeah, I was like, what? Okay,
Hmm.
it was good. It tasted really
Hmm.
good. I enjoyed it actually.
Hmm.
One of my biggest mishaps. This is when I was real young. I was fixing pancakes. I wanted my dad to try my pancakes out. So I was fixing my pancakes, and I just figured I could substitute baking soda for baking powder. I didn't think that was a big deal, right? So I used baking soda instead of baking powder in my pancakes. And so, needless to say, it definitely was not a good substitution.
Yeah.
And so I just had the visual in my head when I said, "Hey, Dad, can you taste the pancakes?" He says, "Oh, sure, yeah, let me taste it." And he tastes it. He immediately spit it out.
Oh no. Oh no. Yeah. It has a different taste.
Okay, all right. So let me ask you this: in terms of let's go, we're going back to this growth thing again. It's one thing to have one business, but then and I know some folks out here may be struggling with this whole idea of when you make the one and then you add the second location, and then now you're
Mm,
up to 8 locations, right?
yes.
So there's a mindset shift that I know had to have occurred to do that.
Hmm.
Tell me how'd you go through that process of adding the second and then getting all the way up to 8? What was your process?
Yeah, so it's interesting. So 2007 we opened Sugarland, 2009 we opened Sci-Fair, and then we did not open the third until 2014. So 5-year gap. So it almost killed us to open the second location. So
Wow.
we did not have it all together. We didn't know how to duplicate ourselves. We were in both locations, and if you know the Houston area, Sugarland and Sci Fair are not close.
Right.
So we thought it was going to be easy peasy. Open the second location, it'll Sugarland will run itself. And we realized when we were not at Sugarland, it was not running well at all. So we had not put together the systems and the checks and balances in Sugarland for it to run by itself without us being there. So we were at Sci-Fair getting it up and running and doing the outreach in the community and making sure the patient care was excellent. And Sugarland started to decline. And so then we started to divide our time between Sci-Fair and Sugarland. And I was like, this is crazy. This is not sustainable. There's no way we can open up another clinic until we get this down to where the the clinics can run on their own. We should not have to be there, overseeing it, making sure things are getting done. And so it took us 5 years to get our processes down. And I call it Nightlight in a box. So it's all of the systems and processes and the checklists and the training that's necessary for a clinic to run on its own without us being there. And so until we got that in place, I was like, we're not building any more clinics.
Right, right. No, I love this. Okay, I want to delve in this a little bit more because I love this. So, because this is what a lot of business owners should be doing, and pretty much any business, but from the owner's standpoint, they're trying to make themselves not needed.
Hmm.
And so tell me what that process looked like when you wanted to make this clinic run without you physically being there all the time.
Yeah, so the first thing is we had to empower the employees. So what we noticed was when we're there, they're like, oh, they're here. So everything's taken care of. They're here, we're good, and so we were like, okay, first off, we have to empower the employees to let them know that they are significant and important and they can be independent of us. They don't have to ask us for anything. They don't have to call us. They can make the decisions on their own. And when they're here, they're in charge. And so that was the first thing we had to implement and instill that sense of empowerment and ownership
Oh, I love
that
that.
they were in charge.
Yeah.
And so we had to make sure that they felt they felt equipped. So that's where the training manuals and just them getting a stamp of approval, like you can do this, from us, and so, after training and after basically it was like, okay, you see me doing it and then I watch you do it, and then we do it together and then I watch you do it so that you are assured and confident that you are, you can do this. And so the first thing was empowerment and ownership on the employee side. And then just, we started to give them roles. You're the lead in this, and so here at the Sugarland, here are the leads. And started
Yes.
developing people so they had more ownership and they saw themselves progressing professionally. And so as we started to put those things in place, we could move around. We could go to Sci-Fair and not worry about Sugarland, and then just check in with folks on a weekly basis. How's Sugarland doing? How are the numbers? How is the customer satisfaction? How are the employees doing? Giving them checklists of when it's time to order inventory so no one's short. So giving them like, this is how you run a clinic. There you go. You run it. Here's all
Yes.
the information that you need to run the clinic on your own.
I love it. So
Yeah.
there's an incredible lesson here that from a very, very early stage, you didn't wait till location number 6 or 7
Oh, we
to
wouldn't have made it.
to empower
No.
your employees. I love that. And
Yeah.
you also mentioned documentation without really
Yes.
stressing it, because
Yes. Yeah.
you documented, obviously, because you said manual, you said training manuals, and then you had
Hmm.
the training program where you have the training. Okay, you see me do it now. Let me see you do it, and that sort of thing. I love that part too. So yeah, that worked out pretty good over time, but it took you a few years to get that down pat. Sounds like.
Yeah, it did. And one program that was really helpful, I really encourage people to get into programs. Like for me, I was hesitant initially to get into a program because I was like, I'm an engineer. I went to business school. I, worked up the corporate ladder. What do I need a training program? Oh my gosh, these programs were amazing. I encourage folks is be a lifelong learner, continue to
Okay.
learn. And so I joined the Goldman Sachs 10,000 Small Business Program, and that helped
Yeah.
me get the mindset that I had to work on the business and not in the business. If you want to
Yes.
grow, if you want to scale, you have to work on it at a higher level and
Yes.
empower people to work in the business. And that was transformational for me. And so in that 5-year period, I was able to take a step back, get out of the business, and write a growth plan. Like when you're in the business, you don't have time to write a growth plan
So
because
true.
someone, customer had an issue, you got to address that, or inventory is short, so you got to address that. So when you're in the business, there's no time to think strategically, to pull yourself out of the business to work on putting a document together that you follow. And so I was able to do that and I was able to identify future locations. So after I finished that program, I had our next 3 locations already identified.
Oh, nice.
I had, when we were going to roll them out, how I was going to procure or acquire the funding for them. So it was really, that was a really pivotal moment in the time of the company for me to take that time out, and to build those systems, to build like to okay, here's my ideal employee,
Mm-hmm.
and this is what we went back to the values. So I can train anyone on how to check a patient in, but I can't train them to be courteous, to be joyful,
Right, right.
to be positive. I can't train that, so here's the profile of the ideal employee. They have to come to the table with that. I can train them how to navigate through our systems, but I can't train them to be a pleasant person.
So true. Yeah. In fact, let me just check and see what the audience thinks about that, because I do think that's an important point that you mentioned, and they do agree. So yeah, you know,
Wonderful, wonderful.
so and I know that's one of the things that they talked about whenever I was watching some videos about Chick-fil-A, because if you ever go to Chick-fil-A, they always say, "Oh, it's my pleasure. Oh, with pleasure," whatever. They always use that word pleasure, and that was intentional, because there was like at one place that they had it, and the owner and one of their top franchisers was like, "This is something we want to keep doing," and so it got to a point where it's a requirement. And so to the point where if they can't be nice and let the customers know with pleasure, he says, we will turn them from employees to customers. You know what that
Oh
means?
yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
So it was a requirement.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
So Sabrina says, Ross, I can be a great cook and a terrible cook. One time I didn't cook the chicken all the way in my meal 5 years ago, and my 10-year-old son still talks about it to this day. That I almost made him ill. Oh, poor thing. She says, Zawadi, great statement. Empowerment and ownership is so important. So yeah, absolutely. So appreciate that. She says you guys are great. So thank you for that, Sabrina. Appreciate your input. Okay, I have another question for you. Then we'll go back to business again. Okay, would you rather, um, if you were stranded in the woods, have a corkscrew with you or a spoon?
Ooh. I would imagine a spoon. I can
Why?
imagine how helpful a corkscrew would be. Well, no, I take that back. A corkscrew, because you would want something sharp.
Mm-hmm.
I think it will have more utility. Like if you have to screw to get to something, like through a tree to get some sap, or
Mm.
dig in the dirt. And you can use your hands for the same things you would use a spoon for, I would imagine.
Oh wow! So you had me at spoon, but now you got to talk me into the corkscrew. What do you guys think in the comments? Put, even if you're watching the replay, I still want to know: would you rather have a corkscrew or a spoon if you were stranded in the woods? Okay, all right. Because I have to. I asked this last week, but I just feel like I have to ask you this too. Okay, if you, let's say Dr. Gentles, you're just going to go into partnership with her, and you knew she had one of these two qualities, which one would you prefer? Would you rather her be constantly humming all the time when you're working together, or constantly repeat everything you just said? Which one would you prefer?
Oh, the humming.
Okay, why'd you pick humming?
I mean, I know people who do the repeat thing, and it's normally done to affirm what you said, and
Yeah.
it's not rude, but I find it quite annoying.
Okay. Okay.
I mean, I understand why they do it,
Right.
and
Right.
in some contexts, for clarity, it's
Yeah.
necessary, but not all the time.
Right. The constantly part. That's the part that's probably
Yeah,
that
the
makes it annoying.
constantly, yeah, yeah.
Now, okay, okay. Now this is interesting. You mentioned this part too, because I think it is important. Because I sometimes do it. Do you feel like whenever you're going to use that strategy of repeating something, do you like to put it in your own words, or do you try and repeat the words the person just said? What's your strategy if you were to use that strategy?
So okay, so I've used it in both ways.
Okay.
So I will normally say, what I hear you saying is,
I like that.
And so then I will put it to where how I heard it and understood it, you know, versus the other way, like when you're directly repeating it, like I use it in a different vein, like,
Right.
this is what I heard you say, like, so they can hear what they said.
Yeah.
It's like, so it just depends on the
Yeah.
context, it depends on the context.
Have you ever done it where, like, okay, you repeat what they said, like, I didn't say that. No, that is what you said.
Yeah, so that's it's different. It's different.
Yeah, that's true. And so there were times I've said something and then someone will repeat back and they'll say, you said this. I didn't say that. And maybe I did say that actually, but I just didn't realize I said it that way. I was like,
Right, right. And I mean, it's like you're seeking to understand, right? You're seeking to have a constructive conversation. So it just depends on the end goal. It's like, okay, this is what I heard you say, so they can
mm-hmm.
hear what they said and
Yeah.
it give them an opportunity to change that
Yes.
to help the conversation progress.
I
You know
do
what I
agree.
mean?
That is so,
So I mean, at
yes.
the end of the day, I try to, in my communication, like progress the conversation, not like have conflict.
Yeah.
So that's why I said it just depends on what the end goal is,
Yes.
for us to like break through any kind of obstacles in the conversation.
Do you feel,
Communication is it's so challenging.
yes,
I wish
yes.
people would understand how like make or break some conversations are.
Do you feel any differently if someone is using it as a strategy or if they're just really trying to figure out what you just said? Do you feel any different about it?
I think again, like if I feel that they are genuinely seeking to understand,
Mm-hmm.
like if their heart is like, if the intention is to for us to not miss each other,
Right.
if their intention is genuine, but I can tell when someone's trying to work me, you know, when they're trying to prove their point, you know what I mean?
Yes.
Is not seeking to understand. So I can tell.
And sometimes too, I know with my wife, sometimes if she knows I'm trying to maybe talk her into something that maybe she may not be ready for, and I ask certain questions, and she's like, she doesn't want to participate at that point. It's like, no, I'm not participating in this.
Yeah, because you're not seeking to understand. You're trying to prove a point, and it's just like, you know what?
Yeah,
This is fruitless.
yeah, exactly. So I get the point. I was like, okay, I got to move on. Moving on.
I'm not saying I don't do that. I'm just saying I you can tell the difference.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I and it's something that I'm learning from because sometimes we don't realize it. I think sometimes I don't realize I have
Mhm.
an agenda that I'm trying to get for, and I do, and I'm asking these questions in a certain way that's leaning in this direction, and the other person's already sensing it, and I'm not realizing it. And so, yeah, so you kind of brought me in a different area here when I'm asking this question. Oh goodness. Okay. All right. So let's go back to the growth conversation again. One of the things that I know some business owners struggle with, or leaders in general, leaders struggle with, is that letting go, right? Because they're afraid that things are going to go
Mm,
wrong, right? So when you go, let's say you had the Sugarland location, and you're going to go over to
mhm.
Cyprus. Where was it? Yeah,
Yep,
Cyprus.
Cypher.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So you're going to go to Cyprus. There's always that, oh man, I want to make sure they do things right. I don't want to make the wrong
Mm.
decision. They may hurt the business, whatever. Tell me, how did you get through that process?
Oh man, that is such a growth and learning opportunity for leaders. Because like especially like coming from a project manager role where you have to be in the weeds and the details, um, and you're tracking all of the changes and the movement. That was a major growth opportunity and stretch for me to give people parameters and boundaries and building my comfort with them. Like I would have gone straight and they went like this
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
but they made it there.
Yeah.
And that's the goal, you know. And so me not being, well, I wouldn't have done it that way, or that wasn't the straight line to,
Right.
I just, but there was so much growth and learning in that, and they got there, that was a win for me.
Ah,
And
okay.
becoming comfortable with that and being the coach, like, okay, um, what could we have done differently in how we got there? What was the learnings? What did you learn? What would you have done differently? What will you keep, and what will you do differently next time? So stepping out of the role of doing and being more of a coach,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
gave me comfort in that, okay, that wasn't the best and most efficient.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Man down briefly. But I know she's going to come back. It's just the internet, guys. No problem. I know she's coming back. But while we're waiting for her to come back, I'm going to read some comments here. Oh, there we go. You're back.
I'm back. I'm like,
Okay,
what
yes.
happened? I was frozen.
You're back. I didn't put a spell on you. I had nothing to do with it. Okay. No, you were talking about they're going through this, and you're coaching, and you're trying to just focus on the goal, but you're having this interaction with them where you're kind of walking them through. Was that a good move? Somewhere in there, you left off.
Yeah. So I mean, just learning that everyone, no one's gonna be my robot or my identical twin. And the way the organization grows and develops is that other people are empowered, and you give them ownership and challenges, and they're not going to grow. Like the people that started off as front desk and now are managers. Oh my gosh, like they have grown so much. And there's no way they could have gotten to that point without me giving them projects, without me giving them, leadership roles. And, like, was it the most efficient like way of spending money? Probably not. Like as far as, they lost some money here and there, lost some time here and there. But look, now I have like someone that would go to the moon and back for me and the company. And I no longer have ownership of that space. They do. And so
Yes.
you can't put a dollar sign on that. And we wouldn't be where we are today without that growth that people on our team have made. And that's just the benefit, the risk and the benefit of giving people ownership and empowering them. So I think it's a long game. You have to have the long game in mind.
I like that. I like that you mentioned it's a long game, because it may seem slower, but I think slow is fast in the end.
Yeah.
Because it looks slow, but it's not really slow, because you're going to get there faster, because we can't do everything as the owner.
I absolutely. And like I said, I mean, just that going through that whole transition of, from being independent to now being with the Metnax family, that was so much work. And I couldn't have done that if I were in the business.
Yes.
If I was running the clinics, there's just no way that opportunity would have presented itself, and then ability to complete it.
Yeah, absolutely. So Sabrina says, yes, Zawadi, corkscrews for the same reasons. That was pretty cool. I was impressed with that, Zawadi, because I was definitely heading towards a spoon. I was thinking about my next meal. I was thinking about I want to have a spoon. And then you,
but that's first world. You know what I mean? Using a spoon. That's first world.
exactly.
No.
If you're stranded, you're not worried about a spoon and etiquette and all. Yeah, that was very practical. So you're a very practical person, I can tell.
Yes.
She says the balance of humming and the repeater. Hey, Robert's here. By the way, Robert, so you tell us what you think on this. Would you rather work closely with someone who hums all the time or repeats everything you just said? Let us know in the comments. Sabrina says sometimes we have to hum and listen, and sometimes we need to repeat the information. What a balancing act. So that's true. That's true. We lose a little bit of both. That's true in the process. Okay, I have another question for you. Ready? All right. Would you rather always come in second for every contest you enter, or come in dead last 9 out of 10 times, but first every 10th try. Which one would you go for? Comments, I want you guys to answer. Even if you're watching the replay, please answer in the comments. I want to see what you guys say
Oh,
too.
the latter.
Okay,
The
why is that?
latter.
So you want to be dead last 9 out of 10 times, but every 10th try you become first. Why is that?
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you no. Mm-mm. Let me rethink that. I'm so sorry. I heard it differently. See,
Okay,
I should have repeated.
that's okay.
I should have repeated it. No. I got it now.
You
I
got
got
it?
it now. Oh, that's horrible. Both of them. It just reminds me of that movie my husband loves, and it is funny.
Oh
Talladega
yes,
Nights.
yes.
Like if you're not first, you're last.
Yes. Okay, you and me and your husband, we're best buds now.
I'm like, oh my God, what a terrible thing to tell your child. You're not first, you're last. Oh my gosh, Rollis. I don't know. No, I don't want to. I don't want to be dead last. I don't know. I don't like either one of those choices.
Okay, but you're dead last 9 out of 10, but every 10th time you're first. But the other one you're always second.
The psychology of both of those. I think the latter. I think I'm gonna go back to my first.
Okay, you're gonna stick with the
response.
latter.
Yeah, I'm gonna stick with that because I of course I like the psychology of it. Like you're learning each time you lose to where that win is like just you conquered whatever you weren't able to achieve, and
Right.
that one sweetness. Like, can you imagine not ever having the sweetness of winning?
I know. That's why I like the last one.
Yeah, no, I'll do the last.
Yes, I'm with you on that because I want to learn from it. Okay, so Robert Barry, he says, give me that one win every 10th time.
Yeah. I think someone would go crazy being second all the time.
Yeah.
The psychology of that is mm-mm.
I just thought of a football team, the Buffalo Bills. They went to the Super Bowl 4 times and they lost all 4 times. Whereas, of course, the Houston team, we never made it to the Super Bowl, but they went there 4 times and lost 4 times. That's got to be excruciating.
Yeah, to be so close.
Oh man. So yeah, I think we're on agreement on that. Yeah. Okay. All right. So going back to the growth conversation. Tell me this: how do you bring on folks in the organization and determine who it is that you feel like you can work with to be that next leader, and who just needs to be where they are? It's just not going to change.
Yeah.
It just need to be. So what were some of the things you use to kind of to see who are going to be your future leaders, and then who could just stay in that position and do really well?
Yeah. So I think we always look for the people that take initiative. There's always something going on. There's always opportunity for someone to shine. And so we look for that. We actively look for that. We have lots of committees. We look for people who join committees. We look for people who like to lead in committees. And so there's all kinds of ways that you identify the leaders, and that to me, it's people that have an internal drive. And so, I've seen it a few ways where we've seen people that are like super smart, but they have no initiative or drive. And so, we don't tend to nurture those folks until they like step out of the comfort zone or step out of kind of their assigned, role into, or they're super inquisitive, people that are really inquisitive and asking why and asking how, and, those characteristics where they mentor on their own new employees. So we're always looking for those signs and signals of people that are ripe for development.
I like that.
And then we have opportunities for people. There's several levels where you can apply to be a lead in something, or like I said, join a committee and lead the committee. And then we have opportunities for people to join our management trainee program.
Ah,
You
nice.
know,
Okay.
they apply for that. And then when people apply for those things and they don't get in, there's always a follow-up to say, here are some things that we saw in you that are amazing, and here are some things we need to work on so the next time you are like so
Oh
ready
yeah.
for this program. So it's, and then we identify them, and now they're in our pipeline to follow up with, okay, where are you on, leading a huddle, these are some, we need to see you take the initiative and the drive. And so, I tell folks we always need to be on the lookout, because I always like to promote people from within. We're about to open up a few more clinics. I'm like, who's ready? We
Oh
have people that are
yes.
being trained. And so
Yes.
I'm like, are they ready for
Yeah.
when these new clinics to open? Are they ready to lead those clinics?
Well, so the lesson I got from what you just said is that, having plenty of opportunities and ways for them to put up their hand and say, I want to be a
Mm-hmm.
leader, by
Yes.
having those
Yeah.
committees, like what you
Mm-hmm.
mentioned, and having those opportunities. And
Mm-hmm.
then also giving active feedback if they're putting their
Mm-hmm.
hand up and they're not quite ready yet.
Mm-hmm. Right.
So I like that. In fact, I just want to see what
Yeah.
the audience thinks. And they love it too. Yeah. So that we
I
appreciate
love
that.
it.
I think
I love
everybody
it.
loves that. Okay,
Yeah.
so I got another question for you. You ready?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Okay. All right. So, would you rather have to run full speed for half a mile up a steep hill or down one?
Mm-hmm.
So, half a mile up or down a steep hill.
Oh, running down.
Okay.
Who
Why is
wants to
that?
run up? I mean, gravity's on my side.
That's true. That's true. So you don't have a fear of heights of perhaps falling or anything?
No, no, no. I,
Okay.
I I need all the help I can get. The wind behind me, gravity. Yeah.
you know, I have a little bit of a fear of heights, and if it's a very steep hill, I'm not sure if I want to run down a steep hill because I feel like I'm going to fall, and I don't know. I kind of almost want to go up the steep hill. All right, so in the comments, let us know if you're watching live or the replay. Let us know, what would you rather? Would you rather run up a steep hill half a mile or down a steep hill? Which one would you take? Now, Robert says from earlier when we were talking about Talladega Nights, he said shake and bake.
There are so many. There are so many of those in that movie.
Oh my gosh, just so many quotes in that movie. It's just like, yeah, it's just like, oh, I love that movie. Um, he also says you have a great audience, so he likes the audience that I have. Okay,
They're so engaged.
I know they're amazing.
Yes.
They always show up too. That's what I appreciate about them. And I appreciate you guys too. Gwen's a good friend of the show too. She says down for sure. She'll take down.
Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely.
So you're not the only one, Zawadi. Sabrina says, ha ha, I used to run down 28 flights of stairs to not be in the apartment elevator myself. Always up though. That's too much energy lost.
Oh my
that would
gosh.
be
Yeah.
tough, 28 floors. Robert says down, but you gotta know how to stop. That's right. You gotta know how to put them brakes on.
Mm-hmm.
That's for sure. All right. So tell me about this. This is something I don't know about. The whole process of being approached, or you're approaching them with this big firm, and that you see they got the resources. You want to make sure it's a not a win-lose. You want to make sure it's a win-win deal. So I don't know if you can kind of walk us through that whole process. I would love to learn about that.
Yeah, so I think the key is preparation. So I was actually going down memory lane, and I'm like, when did we start this journey? And actually, it was like in 2012.
Oh wow.
So yes, 9 years ago was when I first learned about this whole exit thing.
Yeah.
So it was 2012 when I was doing the Goldman Sachs program. They started talking about transition, either to
Yep.
family members or, selling, that you always need to have an exit strategy. Succession planning is not well done in the middle market, which we're in. They say 60% of businesses that transition were unprepared. And so, in that training that I took, they were saying, hey, you need to have some kind of exit strategy,
Mm-hmm.
even if it's 20 years from now. You need
Yes.
to prepare, have some succession planning or whatever. And so that was one thing. So I just started learning about, what does this mean to exit? What does it mean for my business? And so we started talking to different hospitals and other urgent cares, and I learned about private equity and just educate. I was just educating myself. I became familiar with the term EBITDA, which I was
Yes.
like, I felt like someone was spitting at me, like, what is EBITDA?
Yeah.
I did not know what that was. And, I'm not afraid to raise my hand and say, can you explain what that is? I know it's a lot of letters. What does it mean? And it's just earnings before taxes, interest, depreciation, amortization. It's just your cash flow.
Yeah.
You know,
Exactly.
your cash flow. Basically, how much cash do you have in the business at the end of the year? Because people are going to evaluate you based on that, your cash
Mm-hmm.
flow. So, learn those terms, what my enterprise value was and what the benchmarks and metrics were for my industry. Every industry is different. And so that's when we started our plan to build 10 clinics, because that's a magic number in our industry. They're like, when you have 10 clinics, first of all, you're a rarity in our industry.
Mm-hmm.
There's very few independent operators that have more than five, really,
Right.
clinics. But to make it to 10, that's when buyers see you as an enterprise or a platform that they can then grow and build upon. So we were like, okay, we got to make it to 10, 10, 10, 10 is our
Right.
magic
Right.
number, right? So that was the road to 10, and so right around 2018 is when we became really serious about getting ourselves prepared. 2018, we started looking for an investment banker, a CPA, an M&A attorney. So building our team, as well as we built an advisory team, like a group of folks we could go to and help us kind of professionalize our business, to
Mm-hmm.
where it's like I went to them and gave them quarterly reports. They critiqued us on our growth strategy, and they kept us really accountable to this road to 10. Because I'm like, we're going to build 10 of these clinics,
Nice.
and I needed, like, as a business owner, who am I accountable to? No one. Like, so just like having that advisory team to come in and say, I wouldn't have done that. I think you should do this. Here's a person I think you should talk to. Here's a great banker that I think, you guys should utilize. So just that, like, outside team to look at the business and have like a higher level view than I had, and provide great feedback and resources to help us get on that road to 10 to accomplish our goal. And so, we started, like, just giving our business a scorecard, like how is our legal, do we have lawsuits, how is our insurance claims, how our financials look, our financial statements, cleaning all of that up. And our advisory team helped us, like, they were like, that's not going to work the way you're doing your financials now.
Right.
So we redid our financial statements and our accountability. So kind of looking at the business from a buyer's perspective, like,
Yes.
are we desirable from a buyer's perspective?
Yeah.
If they were to come in and step in, are we ready to go? Are the employees, are they, do we have quality employees, and are they happy working here? No one wants to buy a business where the employees are disgruntled, right?
Right.
How's the values and the culture? Is it, do you have systems and processes in place? What are your IT systems? So we went through and did a diagnosis of the company. Are we buyer ready? And then we had this amazing team, investment bankers, and the M&A attorney and all of that. So when the opportunity presented itself, which came out of the blue, we were ready.
Mm-hmm.
We were ready.
Right.
And it was before the 10, right? So we have 8.
Right.
So, we were on the road to 10, but this opportunity came, and it was, it was too good of an opportunity to pass up.
There you go. There you go. And they saw you were on your way. So they valued you as if you basically already had reached it from
Hmm.
their perspective. So that's really cool. And I remember you talking about the 10 years ago because we've been
Yeah.
working together for
Hmm.
you for a
Hmm.
long time now.
Yeah.
We started
Yeah.
working, I think it was 2016. We started
Yes.
working
Yes.
together.
Yeah.
And I remember from early, you guys were talking about that and the growth model and going for the 10 and all that kind of stuff. So that's awesome. I love to see this story, this growth story. One of the things I also appreciated too about when we worked together is you were very innovative and you basically embraced and your company embraced new ways of recruiting because we started working together on that. And you were willing to do
Hmm.
the recruitment videos, and we
Yeah.
we, we did the career site together, and some of those videos are still being played to this day that they were recorded.
Yes, yes, yes. We love those. I mean, because you want people to get a feel and a flavor for the environment, the culture, the values, and if it doesn't resonate with them, then I'd rather them see that up front and say, you know what, no, that's not the environment I want to work in. So
Yeah,
those videos, it just they say a picture's worth a thousand words, right? So it gives them a view into what it's like to work at Nightlight.
absolutely. And also the personalities, when they see your
Hmm.
personality and they see Dr. Generals, they see Dr. Chu,
Hmm.
and all the different people who work on your team, they're like, oh yeah, I can work. I like those people. I can work
Yeah,
with those
yeah,
people.
I like those people. They're all right. Yeah, I can
Yeah.
work with them.
And
Yeah,
and if they don't vibe with y'all, that's fine too. Just don't apply.
yeah, right. I love that. Self screening. Self screening is wonderful.
Yeah, exactly. So anyway, all right. So I got some good more comments came on. Oh, now when you were talking about those numbers earlier, Zawadi, Robert, he's been a chief auditor for years, and now he does coursework on showing other auditors how to be better auditors and all that kind of stuff.
Mm.
Anyway, he says you were speaking his language when you were talking about EBITDA and going through the business processes and everything. Yeah, he's trained like in finding fraud and stuff like that. So he knows how to
Oh
like,
gosh.
yeah, he knows how to. So he can tell when processes are off. So he's applauding what you guys did. So that was
Yeah.
awesome. He says also he's going to take down because. Well, I think I told you that, but you just need to know when to stop. Okay, Sabrina says, "Cheers, guys! Going to work on my new children's book. Oh, nice! All the
Mm.
best in the rest of your video. Great information. We'll have to come back and re-listen. Yes, come back, Sabrina, and let us know when your book comes out. Who
Yeah, the
knows?
children's book
Yeah, that
definitely.
that might find its
Yeah,
way in your clinics, right? Who
I
knows?
absolutely love books.
And
Big readers.
and if you guys haven't done it, uh, Joanne, please put a link to the Nightlight website because when you go to the site, you've if you're a parent, I don't know, it just has a warm, cozy feeling. I don't know if I would want to take my kids there. I love the colors and the
Yes, thank you.
yeah. It was so intentional. Tell me about that. Tell me about the
Yeah.
environment. What was behind all that? Because it seemed like there's a lot of intentionality. In fact, let me show a picture, that early picture for those of you guys who didn't see it. This is when they first started
Mhm.
out. This is Zawadi and Connie and Dr. Gentles, Anastasia Gentles, and this is how their clinics look when you walk in. It has like the beautiful night light and all that. So tell us about that.
Yeah, it's very intentional because, you want the children to be comfortable coming in. You want to see bright colors. Like when you come into our clinics, they all have a theme. Like the Tanglewood location has a carnival circus theme. You first walk in, and there's this big, elephant balancing a ball on top of their head. And so it's fun and bright and also clean. And that's for the moms and the parents. It
Yes.
has to be clean. So that was like our focus. I'm like, I want it to be fun and bright and clean.
Yes. Yes. Thank
So,
you.
yeah, because you're coming in for medical care, but you want the child to feel comfortable and safe, and the mom to be feel like, okay, this is a good environment.
Absolutely. Okay, I have another question for you here. Um, what is your favorite children's movie character of all time?
Oh man, so my daughter was just making fun of me the other day because she wanted to watch this movie called Matilda. She watches it over and over again, and I was like, "Who watches a movie over and over again?" She's like, "Well, Mom, you watch Willy Wonka." all the time. And I was like, that is like, I love Willy Wonka.
Oh wow.
So, that is the Oompa Loompas. I don't know if it's them or Willy Wonka itself, the original, the one with um what's the Johnny Depp. I can't get with that
She's
one.
right. The one
But
was it
the
Gene
Gene
Wilder? Yeah,
Wilder.
Gene
Gene
Wilder. Yeah,
Wilder.
yeah, yeah.
I
I
mean,
remember that one.
he just makes being a kid so fun. It's
Yeah,
magical. And Charlie and just that story of overcoming obstacles and just just the lollipops and the singing. It's I love that movie.
nice. I remember that movie
This makes me
well.
feel a kid all over again.
Yep, absolutely. Now, Gwen says, sounds like Zawadi knows all about love in the workplace. That's how your culture is cultivated. Now, love, each of those letters stand for something. I think it's leadership, ownership.
Mm.
Help us with the other ones, Gwen, if you don't mind. Gwen, put what love stands
I'll
for,
have to write
because
that down.
Zawadi's gonna like that, and yeah,
Yeah.
you're gonna you guys, you and Gwen would get along good. Y'all are both good people. All right, so thank you for Joanne. Joanne put the link to your website in here, so thank you
Oh,
for doing
thank
that.
you so much. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay.
And with our national growth, I know you have a national audience here. We're in the Houston area, but we do telemedicine across the state of Texas.
Okay.
And there will be a nightlight coming to you soon, wherever you are. So
Awesome.
stay tuned.
So if you have kids, you know what? Check them out, even from a telehealth standpoint. That's awesome. Now
Yes.
you're able to serve all 50 states,
No, we just do Texas now
or just
for
Texas for
telehealth.
now.
Yes,
Okay.
yes, just Texas.
But your eyes on the country eventually.
Our eyes on the prize, on the entire country.
I love it. So Gwen says,
Wherever there's kids,
there
there
you
needs to
go.
be a nightlight.
Okay, well there you
Yeah.
go. That means global. Okay, so Gwen says leadership, ownership, values, and effort. That's her. That's
Values and effort.
yeah.
Love you.
That's
Thank you. Thank you, Gwen.
yeah. Gwen. She has like these cool little acronyms. She has another one. I don't remember which one it is, but it's another good one. If put that one in there if you don't mind, Gwen. There's another one you have that we talked about on the show. I don't remember what it is. Okay, so any final words of encouragement? By the way, thank you for being such a great partner for all these years. We just really love supporting you guys. It was one of those, you're one of those clients we always felt good about, that wow, we serve Nightlight, because we knew that you guys were doing such amazing things for the community, helping people. So I just want to I'll just say thank you on the air. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Rollis. Your team is amazing. What you guys have done, you're super innovative, and we like to partner with folks that are forward thinking. And I mean, you all were like key and critical to the biggest part of our business, which is our people.
Wow.
It's the biggest part. And we always were assured that we were getting quality people. And that was our biggest struggle back in 2012, when I was telling you, getting the right people. That process of like, you get so frustrated as a small business going through all of those resumes
Yes.
that you just take whatever.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to read another resume.
Yeah, I understand. Yeah, absolutely.
So any way that you can like innovate and make that job easier for us, which you guys did, is such a key critical piece of our success. So thank you.
Well, see, that literally gives me joy, and this is how I feel when I hear comments like that for the job that you did today. You're amazing today. Okay, so Gwen says, "Oh, my values." She says, "Choices." These are her values. Choices.
Mm.
Choices stands for compassion, humility, optimism, integrity, courage, excellence, and selfless. By the way, we have you tagged in this, so Joanne already listed it. I mean, Gwen already put it in here. So I love that too. Choices.
I love it. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I tell you, Zawadi, you've been amazing today. I've really enjoyed our conversation. It went by really fast. Can you believe the hour is going to go by?
I can't believe it. I can't believe it.
Yeah, it zoomed by. So thank you all the ones who commented. And if you're watching the replay, please comment too, because we will read those as well. If you have any questions, that sort of thing. Now, if someone wants to connect with you, what's the best way to do that, Zawadi?
Yeah, the way you can do that is I'm on LinkedIn, Zawadi Bryant. That is the best way to reach me. And then also, I am on Twitter at Zawadi Penda, Penda.
Oh, cool. I don't think
Yeah.
we're connected on Twitter. I'm gonna have to connect with you on Twitter
Yeah,
then.
you have to tweet me.
Exactly, absolutely. And I'm Rollis Fontenot if anybody wants to connect with me on Twitter as well. So folks, if you're watching on Facebook or YouTube, feel free and hop on over to LinkedIn and look up Zawadi, or you could actually find her on this broadcast or this post. She's going to be tagged in there. So thank you guys for joining. Let's say bye to everyone. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Okay, stay on for just 1 second, Zawadi, before you head off. Thanks, everyone.
Okay.
Have a great rest of the day. We will be back on Thursday for a Thursday roundtable. And tomorrow we have Leah's Talent Tuesday live with Leah at 2 o'clock as well. So have a great rest of the day, everyone.
Have a
And
great day.
yes. So, Jonathan, let me know when it's okay to hit the button, in stream button. Oh, Chandra, she's came and she's going to watch the replay. Hey, thanks, Chandra. She's in Florida.